Ontario, just west of London. The 3rd overall pick in the 2024 OHL Draft. There's a long shot handled easily by Gavin Betts. And the dynamic Landon Dupont sends it out. Feeds it back in, and a quick chance here on the rush for Alessandro Diorio. Set up by Landon Dupont, the youngest player.
His brilliance belies his age, Gord, with Landon Dupont. I was at a game last year in Everett early in the season. I've watched Landon play coming up. I'm watching the game.
Alalauri centers it, and that puck miscued by Vilmer Kallio. Back at the point, Piparinen takes the return pass and shoots. That goes just wide. Bouncing puck loose in front. And that's rolled wide by Vilmer Kallio. Alalauri. Back down in the corner for Luca Arco. And Arco whips that back in front. Takes the return pass and centers it, but it bounces by Piparinen and back down to the finish end.
We talk about all the scouts in the building, Gord, but Alalauri and Piparinen, they are 2 defensemen that the scouts will be watching very closely, not only here, but over the course of the season.
Kallio winds it across the line, trying to feather that pass ahead, but it's picked off by Rudolph. And back to Rudolph, and the Colm, Alberta native sends it down.
Alalauri had 4 goals in a
pre-trench as well. A 2-hour drive from here. We're in southeast Czechia, in the 2nd largest city in the country. Levanto plays that back, and a quick shot there. And Vanatalo was turned away. The first tough stop for Gavin Betts. Back to Rudolph. Moves that to Thomas Russo, back down to the finish zone, and icing called against Canada.
We were talking about
tournaments. We're going to go back to 2013 rather, to find their last medal at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, which has had several different titles over the years. It began as the Pacific Cup. It was played in Japan one year, played in Mexico another. Became the member of the Hlinka tournament, and then the Hlinka Gretzky Cup about 8 years ago. It is the top showcase for draft eligible prospects for next year's draft. There's a quick shot there from Lawrence. Rebound, score!
Recognizing that there's an opportunity and trying to create an advantage, and he gets right into the net area, and the puck lays there, and he's decisive. He's on his toes, and good live shot. And Ty Lawrence, he is such a good player. Big key part of Muskegon winning USHL championship last year. In fact, he was the or even with the senior team.
At the line, Piparinen holds that for the Finns. Moves it down to Lehtinen. Back to Piparinen. That shot was blocked and moved out by J.C. Lemieux. Piparinen. Arco shoots, that deflects wide. Chartrand back on it. And Arco back with it. Here's Chartrand off the glass and back up. If you're wondering if it's Chartrand, he says Chartrand. We asked. That's how I pronounce it.
Development has been massive. Certainly Ethan Belchatz is a great example of that.
He was the 1st overall pick in the 2024 OHL Draft. Verhoff moves back. Takes that away from Hemming.
It's amazing to me.
As Zilka moves in. And Zilkin poke check. And Savanto goes rink wide for Vanatalo. Dima Zilkin back with it. Born in Russia. Moved to Canada when he was 7 years old with his family. Has an older brother who was drafted as well. Good stop there. Turns and gathers it back up. Dupont shaken up on a late hit there as Lawrence comes busting in. Ty Lawrence centers it. Loose puck for Belchez. That's turned away in tight by Gambles. A rolling puck moved ahead, and a good chance there. Oliver Torkey turned away by Betts. Back the other way comes Belchez. Drops it back for Zilkin. Verhoff was shaken up behind the play for Canada as well. In the final minute now of the opening period.
Ethan Belchatz, you watch a guy that just turned
To their second. And Verhoff pounds that to the line and out. Just one shot for the Finns on their 2 power plays so far. As Verhoff is back to pick it up.
Well, if they don't get the top line out here, they're going to still get no shots.
We mentioned that Verhoff is going to North Dakota as a 17-year-old freshman. He actually accelerated his high school studies and finished a year early.
We saw that with Zach Werenski, Noah Hannafin, Sasha Boumedienne, who was the Winnipeg Jets' first-round draft pick last year. He did that. So we're seeing that a little bit more where the players get their high school requirements in order so that they can take advantage of early entry into college.
And, of course, when Verhoff began that...
Saying that when you're face to the glass, the boards, you're not dangerous. So let that player turn and ride them out.
This pass ahead by Dupont. Finds Russo, shoots. That's knocked away by Gamos. Looks to the side of the goal. Gamos has lost his goal stick, trying to glove the loose puck. That back in front and picked off by Karasari.
I'm glad Canada didn't score. I probably would have called it back in goaltender interference.
With Dupont playing around, you're going to have to let that go. You are going to have to let that go.
It's over.
Okay. Karasari slides that back across to Piparinen. Alalauri walks across and shoots, and through the traffic. Carls slides back in. Bruce in the corner for Ollie Walrus. He got thumped there by Liam Ruck. Cooper Williams on the forecheck. Stymied that. And now Rantanen lays that back down to Lehtinen. Rory Rantanen. He's a late birthday, born December 2008, so he's not eligible for the 2027 NHL Draft. Carl's back to pick it up. Williams drops that back, gathered back up by Lynn. Williams centers it, that skipped away from Fitzgerald, who drops it back down behind the finish goal. Now losing the side of that to jam away at it. And raining in the arena from condensation. Off the draw. Jilkin, a shot turned away. Gomer Kallio has his spraying attempt knocked down by Carls. Chip back around to Williams. Feeds it back, and a great stop there on Lynn by Gamos. Valentini spins back along the boards. Valentini wrists it back in. Looks down to Jilkin. Valentini winds back in. That's knocked away by Alalauri. And Carl's back with the loose puck. Has some room to roam. Carl's winds back ahead. Plays for Prince George in the Western League. Carl's jumping back in. Rolls that back down. Face-off was won by Finland's Kakkonen and sent back down the ice. And here is Lynn back with it. We talked about a couple weeks ago about a projected Team Canada lineup for the World Junior Championship. With a couple of question marks on the fence, if Matthew Schaefer and Zane Perek make their NHL clubs, there might be room for some of these underage players to play for Team Canada at Christmas time. Lawrence rolls that wide. Picked back up by Preston. Preston winds across, feeds across. That's hooked wide by Liam Ruck.
He denies you defensively. It's easy for me to project him as a #1 pillar defenseman in the NHL.
Here's Dupont back with it. Centering pass for Jilkin. Bounces back to Dupont. Valentini to Dupont. Rink wide to Verhoff. Shoots, that's blocked. Rebound loose in front. Jilkin battling for it. Verhoff gets it back for Valentini. To Verhoff. To Valentini. Final seconds now. The Canadian power play. Verhoff threads it back in front. That's tipped wide by Jokin. 3 shots for Canada on the power play. Remains a 2-2 tie. Verhoff spins it back down for DuPont. This power play unit tired now. And Canada. Face-off is won by DiOrio, and now a race for the puck. DiOrio gets in there, looks back for Edmonds with a shot rebound. Lynn steps back on the ice, and the Finns are 0 for 5 on the power play. Valrus up ahead for Lehtinen, and Verhoff took that away. Keaton Verhoff from Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta. Verhoff able to hold the line. Back across for Karls. Inside a minute to go here in the period. On the forecheck, it was almost knocked free by Marcus Ruck. Brought back the other way by Valrus. Olli Valrus plays for TPS Turku's under-20 team in the Finnish Junior League. We mentioned the Finns will host the 2028 World Junior Championship, and Turku, with the new building, is a strong contender to be one of the host cities for that event. Suominen back across to Alalauri. Intermission interview with Lynn, a little sheepish after taking the penalty, but pretty happy about scoring the goal.
Well, goals can change your mood pretty quickly.
At 53 points in 60 games as a 16-year-old in the Western League. And Landon DuPont went him one better. 60 points as a 16-year-old, or 15-year-old rather. Now DuPont, long shot that got deflected.
In the transition from 2005 probably to 2014.
Marcus Ruck in the high slot for the trailer. Rudolph hit the goalpost. Great look there for Dax, and Rudolph rang it off the pipe. Rudolph back with it. Return pass for DiOrio. Tied up by Savanto. And DiOrio slides it back in. 4.5 gone here in the third period. Canada a 3-2 lead on Finland. Canada 2-0, 9 minutes in. Finns scored twice in the last 6 minutes of the opening period. It tied up. Canada thought it had taken the lead early in the second. That goal was called back on goalie interference. And then the goal by Ryan Lynn in the final minute of the second period gave Canada so a 2-goal cushion here in the third period. In the other early game, the Swedes were up 8-0 on Germany after 2 periods. Tonight, the Slovaks will take on the United States as that shooting goes. So the clock can start ticking on his Hall of Fame inductions for the IHF and the Hockey Hall of Fame.
I think they should just waive it. He's automatic. Like, put him in right away. That's what I think with Jeremy.
Once you're 50.
Maybe that's what the rule should be.
In comes Henning.
We put coaches and managers in when they're still, you know, coaching or managing. Managers more so than coaches.
A couple of notable examples of players who retired, got inducted, and then came back. Guy Lafleur, Mario Lemieux.
Yep.
Marcus Ruck looks across for DiOrio. It's their power play. Alalauri. As the Finns try to draw back within 1 here. Back to Pipparainen. That shot bounces high in the air. I hope we mentioned the goal and assist has also been a key part of the penalty kill for Canada. Pipparainen plays it back across. That shot hammered on goal by Lehtinen. Chip back by Kallio. Piparinen. Across the top for Alalauri. Shoots. Hits a skate. Is it once again Verhoff getting in the way? Piparinen. Takes the return pass. Slides that back across to Lehtinen. Alalauri sends it back in front, and Betzman got a piece of that shot from Arco. Piparinen, long shot that was blocked in front by Rudolph and sent down the ice. 50 seconds to go in this Finnish power play. And the Finns hollering for a penalty there, won't get one. Belchez. They've been better on 5-on-5 after their power plays have expired. They've scored twice within 20 seconds of power plays ending. Now brought up by Alalauri. He goes to Volrus. Chips it back down to the Canadian zone, and for now, Gambles remains in the Finnish goal.
I would bet that's largely due in part to giving that top trio a little bit of a rest on the bench. So if he pulls the goal, he's got a stop line out there.
Inside 2 to go in the third period. Kallio knocks that down, plays it across for Latikainen. Banks it back around to Alalauri. Latikainen. Oh, works back in.
Verhoff with a little poke check. Such a smart play.
He's logged big minutes here this afternoon on the penalty kill especially. As time winds down here in the third, Kallio across the line for Volrus, back for Kallio. Sends it back in front. That's knocked away by Verhoff. Chip back up. And in comes Belchez with an empty net. And Belchez puts it away with 4.5 seconds to go in the third period.